and happy and wanting the change to come. I'm excited for it. How can the crystal or indigo children help us in the world today? That's a really important question, because I've said this before on several other interviews. The children who are coming to our planet now, if there is anyone who is the elite of the strongest of the strong, it is the children being born on our planet today, and those of us who are here now. The parents of these children are actually the most amazing, because we literally have to go from thinking and being in the world that is today into knowing that something must change, into knowing that we must provide something else for our children, because these children who are coming are of a higher energy. They are literally gifted in ways that children before them have never been. And so yes, we are dealing with very, very special children who can see, who can hear, who are very close to the other side. And as those parents, we must be so strong, and we must remember that we can make a difference. And that's why all of us feel so strongly right now, something's got to change. There's got to be more to life, and it's because we are starting to be shaken up. We're starting to remember there has to be more than this. We have to remember our hearts. We have to be the ones to bring about the change, so that these beautiful indigo children, these beautiful blessed beings, can then live the change. But they cannot live the change and be the change until we change it. We are that stepping stone. We're the in-between generation who has to say, no more. I refuse to live this way of power and greed, the unstable masculine. I refuse to live this way, and change it. So we must do this, not only for ourselves, but this beautiful generation that is being raised on our planet now, who will be the change, who will lead us in a whole new way of being. You are a child of nature. How do you experience nature, and what aspects are important to you? This is a great question. I am a child of nature. Growing up, I spent as much time as possible outside. I spent a lot of time outside alone. And I started learning things at a very young age. At first, I thought it was totally normal. Then coming back into town after spending a couple weeks outside, I learned what I was seeing and what I was hearing and what I was tasting was not what the other kids were feeling, tasting, and hearing. But I learned outside after being blessed by a very beautiful spirit who came and sat with me. I woke up the next morning to a new world, and I could literally see dots, is what I used to call them, my dots. But there was color in everything, moving, vibrant color, little specks. The best way I could describe it is if it's raining or snowing outside and the light hits and reflects off of all those snowflakes, that kind of shimmering that you see. I see this within everything that is alive. From the smallest blade of grass to the elk or the deer or the trees, everything is alive, and everything has a spirit, and everything has this energy within it. Something else very fascinating started happening. It's very normal to me, and I'll try to describe it. Some people call it being a savant, but I just know it as, this is how I am, this is how I work. I do speak to animals. I can sense things that are alive or that are present in the room. If you shut the lights off and three of you go stand in different corners, I can still tell you who is where, because I can see the energy. I can taste you, I can smell you, there's a vibration, there's a sound, there's a texture. Everything happens at once. And so this is very true with nature, very true with the animals, which animals and trees to me are my family. I love them so very much, and I considered them my family while growing up, and I still do. I love them deeply. And each one of these things, whether it be a pine tree versus a flower, everything has, to me, everything has a taste, a texture, a sound, a vibration. It's all of these things, a color. And so if I am driving down the road, I will get a sense that something is near the road. I pay attention to that taste, texture, color, sound, and I can know, is this a deer, or is this an antelope, or is this a rabbit? All of these senses will tell me what it is, what sex it is, how far off it is, and I can feel the emotion of animals. And so, yes, I am definitely a child of nature and the wild, and I love it deeply, and I have some sort of knowing that is just inside of me. It's just my world. Which is my favorite animal? Oh, that's a loaded question. That's a tough one. I love all animals deeply, and so that's a tough question, but there's an animal that is very, very special to my own heart, and that's the great horned owl. I have had a great horned owl in my life since I was very, very young, say 4 or 5 years old. Right across from the house I grew up in, there was a family of great horned owls. Now, these owls mate for life. They came every year into the big pine trees across from my house, and they allow me to get very, very close and talk to them and sing to them and just listen to them hoot, and I would just stay there in my tree and listen. And when things got hard for me in my life and there was some abuse happening and trauma where I would run to the wilderness, that beautiful owl, my owl, I call him mine, would fly with me and go out to the river where I stayed. And he would stay with me out there until I came home. In a couple of instances, he actually brought me food. He would bring me fish. He would bring me rodents. He would bring me food and leave it there next to me. And when I went home, he would fly back home with me. And in one day in particular, I went outside to feed the horses. And I heard a large swooshing noise, and I turned around, and he hit me right in the chest. And I held him, my dear beloved friend, I held him close to my chest, and I felt his last 3 heartbeats. As a little girl, I was mortified that my friend had just died. And when I went to allow him to fall back off my chest and look at him, I realized that his talon had stuck in my chest. This talon did pierce the skin over my heart, and I carry the scar with me still today, and I wear his talon around my neck in all ceremonies. So he passed on, but his spirit is so very much with me, and his offspring still live in the tree across the road in the pine trees, and they have offspring now who are very close to me as well. We know each other well, and so the great horned owl is something that is very, very powerful to me and very close to my heart. The other 2 animals that I admire and stand in awe of are the whales and the elephants. These 2 animals, literally, the land animal, the elephant, and the sea creature, the whales, literally have a higher vibration, a higher energy than any other living creature, including ourselves. These animals come from something higher, something wiser, and although I cannot tell you exactly what that is, I do know for a fact these 2 animals, the whale and the elephant, have a higher vibration, a higher energy, a higher source than even the human beings. So that's my favorite. can you show it to the camera what you have around your neck? Well, I can show you my medicine pouch. This was given to me when I became a shaman. I carry it with me. I don't do ceremony without it. And inside this pouch are my sacred things, things that are very, very personal and close to my heart, things that can fit in the pouch from sacred ceremony that were given to me by my elders, by the council. I carry things that are special to me are not jewelry or things of this manner. I have bark in here from a sacred, beautiful tree that I used to sleep under. That is dear to me. I have a feather in here from my beautiful owl. I have things from sacred sites, sacred ceremonies that are always with me, that are blessed, that I keep very close to my heart. This is my medicine pouch, my shaman's pouch, and so this is it. Do I know anything about my past lives? I know a little, but, and that's a question I get often about past lives. I believe, well, I know that this is my last time here living on this planet. I've been several times before. This is my last go around before moving on to something higher. And I came here specifically to help teach the children of this planet to remember who they are. As far as past lives go, I believe that, and this is my personal opinion, this is not a teaching from a wisdom keeper, this is my personal opinion, that if I was supposed to remember my past lives, I would remember them. And I don't. I've had glimpses. My window opens up and I'll have glimpses of different things that I've done in the past, who I was in the past. But if I was supposed to remember those lives fully, I would. But we come here, and I think this is part of the beauty of being a human being. We come here not remembering everything. And this is where the gold is, this is where the juice is, because if you can come here to this beautiful planet and remember who you are, and remember what you stand for, and remember your great I am, and remember God and Goddess, that is so triumphant, that is so beautiful, that is so gorgeous. Against all odds, we remembered who we were. We remembered that soul inside of us, that important divine quality in us that is God and Goddess. And throughout all the ups and downs, through all the decisions we have to make every single day, for us to remember our higher selves and know that we are connected to everything out there, to pass that test, to me, is glorious, is fantastic. And so, whether I remember my past lives or not, it doesn't really matter. What I know is that I chose to come here after being asked to come to this planet, and I said yes. And I gained a body, and I'm here on this beautiful sacred mother. So many spirits do not get to come, but we were invited, and I'm here, and I have a chance to speak from my heart and my soul. I am only one, but I am one, and I will do my very best to make a difference. I will do my very best to remember who I am, and to teach what I came here to teach, that our Mother Earth is sacred, that she is a divine being, and I love her very, very much. And no matter how hard it gets, I am just one person and it is overwhelming. To be in charge of tribes, the tribe of many colors, to be in charge of speaking to the world, sometimes it does get overwhelming. But I'm here. I said yes and I came.